Welcome out to the show tonight, guys. This is Studio 321. This is your podcast host, Eddie B, coming at you from the 321. So, okay, guys. So, what are the essential industries that the Trump administration keeps talking about that are so crucial for national security in America? Donald Trump's always talking about it. He says we have to have these industries for national security and for our own defense. So I'm going to get into those. I got a whole list of them. We're going to go through them one by one. Just remember, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm on Rumble as well now. So if you're ever on Rumble, check me out over there at Studio 321 and smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps, and hit the notifications. That way, every time I put out a video, it's going to come up on your feed. But anyway, so here we go. So Trump is always talking about there's certain industries that we have to have in America, to keep us safe. We can't outsource the producing of these particular things to other countries. Okay, and I think that was really proven during COVID, because if you remember, there was a point in time where we were actually, when COVID was running rampant and everybody was sick, and remember all that the respirators and all that stuff they were putting people on, and we were running out of material to make those respirators, and we were having to ask the Chinese for the equipment to make the respirators and stuff. And to me, that's kind of embarrassing. But also we had to ask for stuff for antibiotics. Now if you think about that, that's dangerous. You shouldn't have to ask another country to send you antibiotics because you don't have enough, because we don't really produce them in America. So, there's some small pharmaceutical companies that do here and there, but not like around the world. Like all of our antibiotics and stuff are made in China. So anyways, I thought that was pretty interesting, and I remember when that was going down during COVID, I was like, man, that's embarrassing. Like, we don't even have supplies to take care of our own people, and then I was thinking, well, what would happen if a war broke out between us? They wouldn't have to attack us. They could just spread some disease out like COVID and, shut off all our supply. No more drugs to get us healthy, and no more gear for the medical gear to save us, and we'd be in a lot of trouble. So anyways, I'm going to go through the list of industries, and we'll see what we got here. So, okay, number one, so defense and aerospace, right? They say the next generation of war is going to be fought in space. And I think that's mostly satellite based. A lot of the satellites that the military is putting up have different capabilities other than just communication. I know they have a lot of laser capability, a lot of defensive capabilities, a lot of jamming capabilities, stuff like that. So they're saying that basically the next generation of war will be fought from space. So that looks like that's number one on the list. Number two, energy. That's kind of a no-brainer. We have to have oil production, which we're getting right back into right now. Natural gas, of course, and it's because natural gas is like the next big thing. We're trying to get into some of the green fuels, and natural gas is a lot cleaner. Then, of course, nuclear power. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention or not, but there have been a lot of new permits issued for building nuclear power plants around the country. I, for one, I support that. Now, everybody always talks about, what happened to Japan when, they had that nuclear reactor meltdown. And, then you have Chernobyl in Ukraine years ago. That nuclear power plant had a meltdown. But if you look at, number one, the advances in technology now are way better. So, it's a lot safer for nuclear power. And, if you compare it to the damage to the environment of what other stuff does, it's very, very clean. Okay. So, my idea, in which it's not really my idea, but I've seen it done this way before, and I think it's smart. You put your nuclear power plant out in the middle of nowhere, and in case something does happen, and then you import your nuclear power in the form of electricity to all the cities, and it can power a lot. Okay, so yeah, that I think that's a great one. Communications, there again, no brainer. Cybersecurity, because look, that's what the new war front is on nowadays. Anyways, cybersecurity is a must. They're constantly hacking each other, fighting each other. All these electric grids and water supplies and all this stuff nowadays is on internet based and cyber based equipment. So again, you don't have to attack each other. You just attack your infrastructure in those ways, and that can create a lot of problems in a country. So yeah, cybersecurity and communications, that's real big. Transportation, obviously, transportation is the key to everything. You can't fight a war. You'd have no national security if you can't get around. You have to transport your armies, your people, your goods, everything. It's paramount. Okay. So healthcare and biotech. Well, obviously we learned, like I said earlier, we learned that lesson during COVID. We were ill prepared. We didn't have the supplies, didn't have the antibiotics, even the regular just medicines, aspirin, fever reducers, stuff like that. We ran out of it. Okay. The face mask, if you remember, we ran out of face masks. The breathing apparatuses for people that were in the hospital, the ventilators, we ran out of the supplies to put those together. So yeah, we kind of got caught with our pants down on that one. And you can't let that happen again, because germ warfare is a major thing. You get into a conflict, they could just disease your whole country, shut down your supply, and everybody would die. So now semiconductors and electronics, right? So all weapons of war nowadays have semiconductors in them. All our missiles have computer chips. Everything's computer chip based. Hell, your washer and dryer nowadays have computer chips in them. So that's a it's a very important thing, and a lot of the reason I think we're in such a uproar over the Taiwan China thing is because a lot of people don't realize, I believe something like 70% of the computer chips and semiconductors in the world are made in Taiwan. That's what they do over there. It's their major export. So China knows if they control them, they control that industry. Now, the United States has caught on to that, and so we have been starting the process of bringing that back into the United States and building them here. We're just not caught up to speed yet. I think within 5 years we will be up to speed, and that'll be off of the list of worries. So finance and banking, of course, banking gets it all done, just like transportation. You got to have money circulating so people can live, make profits. The war machine is expensive. There's just a lot going on in banking. And, you can leverage people, leverage other countries with banking. It's very important for tariffs and all that stuff. Agriculture and food, of course, that's how we survive. You got to have that first. Without that, you don't have a country. So, that's paramount as well. Now, critical manufacturing. You hear this out of Trump all the time. He's always talking about steel, aluminum, a lot of these carbon fiber things they're making nowadays, these weird alloys. All that stuff is, that's critical manufacturing. That's all your weapons of war are made out of these new alloys and stuff. And if you don't have steel, which is the base for pretty much everything, you don't have steel, you don't have nothing. You know what I mean? No housing, no factories, no cars, nothing. And again, seeing that I'm a history buff, if you remember, back at all the stories about World War II, they had to ration everything. People had to turn their steel in. Like if you had steel in your yard, everything was recycled because they needed to build tanks. We were running low. It's super important for critical structure, especially in hostile times. And then of course the water and utilities, which again, that's like agricultural. You don't have that. We're not a country. We can't survive. But so that was the main list of things, and you just really have to stand back from that for a second and look at it and say, we really, I'm going to say over the last 20, 30 years, we kind of got caught with our pants down. We've gotten very lazy, okay, kind of living high on the hog and getting to be lazy Americans. Our industries have gotten lazy. We've imported everything from other countries, bought all our stuff from them because they make it so cheap. But when you look at it from afar, you realize what it did. Number one, we've lost all our industry because all the other countries make it, because we don't make it here anymore. And another thing people don't realize, we've lost all our craftsman skills. And not, this isn't a major, what word am I looking for? This isn't a major national security thing, but I'll give you an example, like furniture, for example. Most furniture nowadays is made in Vietnam, right? You go to Vietnam, there's furniture manufacturing everywhere. And that means you have factories full of young men who are learning how to do great woodwork, finish work, upholstery work, all that. Total skills. You don't have that over here anymore. Not in the United States, right? And that's just one little industry. So you have to think about that. When you don't have these critical industries or any industry, you're not only hurting jobs, but you don't have a skilled labor force, because we don't have, people who can do all this stuff anymore. And we just got to get back to that. But we got to get back to the basics first, which is the stuff, like I said on the list, that's important for our national security. But anyways, guys, if you like my video, please like and subscribe. This is Eddie from Studio 321. Again, I'm on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. Come see me, man. Let's hang out and let me know what you think. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks.